Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today, and this is a fan favorite. This is a Christian Workers' Testament by Zondervan. This is one that had some pretty good popularity from like the 1950s, 60s, 70s, somewhere in there. They were pretty popular. A little pocket edition of the New Testament that could kind of help you lead people to Christ. It had some helps and little things to kind of guide you along. We're going to start with the box. It's a two-piece box, blue on one side and white on the other. Nothing really going on except for the end sheet here that says Christian Workers' Testament and Psalms. Marked in red, all subjects on theme of salvation, genuine leather, black Morocco grain, gold edges, and then the item number there, 495p. So let's go ahead and get into it. You can see this wonderful grain, and now it said it is Morocco grain, so it has this very fine grain, kind of pebbly, and it has a fairly nice grip, probably medium grip texture to it. It does have a little perimeter line on the edge there, but nicely done. On the spine, we have Christian Workers' New Testament and Psalms. And there's like there's kind of one. I can't really tell. There's not one in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of spine rib indications there. The perimeter line continues to the back where you just have that kind of Morocco grain again. Looking very nice. We do have red and gold head and tail bands, a single red ribbon, a nice gold gilt or gold end gilt. And the ribbon is a single-sided satin in red. Nice size. For the size of the edition here. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have a Saffiano paper paste down. There's the corner work. Not that it's much to look at, but it's there. Go ahead and get into it. Presented to Darlene Moorcroft. Thank you, Darlene. And we have the Christian Workers New Testament title page. It's very small. You can see it's a good size, right? Good pocket edition. And the secondary title page there, Christian Workers New Testament. Authorized King James Version with Psalms. Indexed and marked by the best methods of Bible marking on all subjects connected with the theme of salvation. By Zondervan again. And it came from the John C. Winston Company. They were the ones, I think, who started it originally, and then I think Zondervan picked it up from them. And it's copyright in 1959 and 1924. You do have a listing of all the different printings there. And I'm assuming that this is the 5th printing done in April 1965. I love this. This is interesting. I wish they would continue this because it just makes it nice and clear. All right, here's all your printings. Here's when they were printing. And here's how many are in print. That's kind of neat. Made in the United States of America. Where to find it. So that's a neat little kind of where to turn if you're looking for this sort of thing. Real religion, victory. Paul's idea of Christianity. Bunch of interesting topics there. And it's continued on the back side. Then we have our preface. Explanation of the use of the tools. You guys want to pause it. And the theme is salvation, and it is lettered. So you bounce around. So the idea is basically you kind of keep this page, right? Your thumb in this page. And then you could flip to all these different sections here, right? And you could kind of go through the gospel with these verses. And here's a summary of your references. So each section kind of correlates with the specific topic, right? So here you have section A. So anything marked with an A indicator is all unsaved people are sinners. And so this is the section of verses that would tell you that. And it's kind of neat because it works, alphabetically, right? So you have all unsaved sinners, then you have C for condition of all sinners described, then you have, say, K for saving and keeping the power of the Lord. So it kind of helps you with like a little mnemonic there to help you remember. But it kind of breaks it down there for you. So I guess you have the main verses all in Matthew, so it's kind of a quick turn. All right, you can just go 1, 2, 3 through a couple of pages in Matthew and have it all. But then if you need additional supporting text, you have it there. So here's an explanation of the characters used in the text. And then we have our books in alphabetical order and in the normal order listed. We have the Gospel according to St. Matthew. Very tiny there. And then you can see the indicators there for K and L. And then it gives you K, turn to 416, and L to 416. There's some more of those breakdowns of those helps. All right, so we'll take a look at the features, and we have the book and the chapter associated with the page on the outer corners. We have the subject headers on the inner gutter there. We have our chapter indicators, and then we have a double line drop cap, and then we also have a kind of a brief summary there. If you guys can see it at the beginning of each chapter. See that kind of red ink. Now, obviously, it's a black letter text. It's not a red letter text. They reserve the red letter for the helps, the salvation helps. And it is overcast stitched. You can't see it here. And you know, I have a newer version of these. I don't think it's I forget if it's the Christian Workers New Testament. But I have a newer one of these, kind of the ones that are geared towards, helps on the salvation. That point you in the right direction. Helps to point you in the right direction for verses on salvation. I don't think it's the Christian Workers New Testament. I'm not sure. But I have a newer version, and the newer version doesn't have this nicer paper. The newer version obviously doesn't have leather. I think the newer version is just like a cheap, I say cheap, right? It's like a $25, but it's like a glued binding. It's synthetic, synthetic outer. It's very stiff. So certainly if you can find one of these older ones, these are much nicer. We'll go ahead and take a look at the paper. You can see here how the ribbon kind of dyed the gutter here. That's interesting to see on occasion. But we'll take a look at the paper. The paper is very nice. There's no show through. I mean, barely. You can see a little bit maybe right there, but no show through really to tell us to speak of. So it's very nicely done. Very nicely done. All right, let's get to the end. Psalms. Sorry, the end of Revelation. So we have the end of Revelation, and we have the book of Psalms. And there we have our double column verse by verse. More of the same. We'll go to Psalm 119. There we go. So for Psalm 119, we do not have the Hebrew letters, but we do have the transliterations there for each section. And again, that paper is really nice. Barely see through it. There we have. It looks like just the end of Psalms, and then it wraps up. Here's the end of Psalms. Got one blank page for notes, or two blank pages for notes, and then just your end sheet there. But yeah, very nice edition. Certainly an easy way to kind of get you going. If you're doing like street evangelism, this is just a good little one to have on you. The text might be a little bit of a stretch maybe for older eyes. Not too bad, not too shabby. Let's get some measurements. This comes in at 5¼ inches wide, 5¼ inches tall by 4 inches wide, and just over ½ an inch thick. Now, as far as the font size goes, let's take a look. We'll do the uppercase first. It appears to be about a 6.5 point font versus Times New Roman for the uppercase. And for the lowercase, looks to be a little bit bigger. Nope. About a 6.5 point font for the lowercase as well. So about a 6.5 point font overall for this pocket edition. Kind of a stretch for me, but for you, maybe not. It's a nice edition. I don't know these come up very often. They tend to be, from what I've seen them, when I do see them, they tend to be right about the $20 to $25 range, which is funny considering I think the newer version of this is about that same price, $20 to $25. But certainly the older ones are nicer. They have better paper. They're gilt. I don't know if the other ones are gilt. They might be. But the paper's nicer on these. Ribbon's nicer. Leather's nicer. So if you can grab yourself an older edition, certainly that would be the way to go. Bible buddies, questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. Otherwise, until next time, bye.